So how do we help our teens to manage the social media risks? Well, a lot of parents is like, I will just stop them from using social media entirely. Let's ban them from it. It's not gonna work. It's really not. Because even if they're not accessing it at home, they'll be going to school and all their friends will have a mobile phone that they can access to it. So that is not really the ideal solution or strategy to help protecting our teenagers to be safe when they use social media. So there are three things I think parents can think about, as usual, three strategies to make it easy and simple for everybody. So the first one is really about talking about social media use. It seems easy, but it's quite complex in some way, because what we want to do is provide psychoeducation to our teens. You want to talk about social media use in general. You want to talk about how to use it safely. What is unsafe? What does it mean to be unsafe, to use it unsafely? What are the risks involved? What could people possibly do to you online or ask you to do online? So there are many little questions you need to speak to your teens about, which is to educate them about the risks about using social media. So for example, if people ask you to give their name, your age, send you an appropriate image of yourself, of course you're not going to do that, right? But our teens don't always know that. And sometimes the power of grooming is really, really powerful. They will use the right language, they'll hook them in, and then the next thing you know, they've already been sending stuff they shouldn't have. Right? A good example is that you think about how many adverts is telling you do not send money to a stranger or through this and through this and through that. There's a lot of schemes out there trying to get people's money, and sadly there's still so many people got what's the word I'm looking for, got conned, right? So they still send money away, they lost a lot of money and all these things. That's because they're using the language these people want to hear and hook them in, and next thing they know, they already send the money away. So it's the last time I was reading this news about this lady and who fell in love with this guy in America, and then the next thing she knew, she was already sending £1 million over to America, and then turned out to be a scam, right? So these are things, it's really powerful. So it's really important to make sure we educate our teens what is safe online use, what is unsafe online use. And I will encourage the parents to go through different scenarios with your teenagers and see how they respond. And you'll be surprised. It's a bit annoying because your teens will be like, stop asking me this question. I know this is this, this is this, this is this. And in the end of the day, it's a bit like fire drill. When there's a fire, we do the fire drill thing every Friday morning or whenever. And it's to practice. So then it became ingrained in your brain. You don't even have to think. Then you just do it. And it's the same thing. And I was brought up in Taiwan, so there's a lot of earthquake. So we do a lot of drill about earthquake. Where should you hide? What do you need to do? How do you keep safe? And it was really helpful when I experienced earthquake. Then I remember what to do. Because when you're panicking, your logical thinking just went out the window. So it's really important to think about these things with your teenagers, the risks, give them the scenarios, and think about how they can manage each scenarios as well. As people come to say, like, do this, do this, do this, do this, how are they going to respond? Do they come to speak to you straight away, or do they shut it down straight away? So these are the things you need to think through with your teenagers. Second is about us as parents, right? We want to learn and find out more about social media. Yeah, that's it. I remember earlier I was saying I'm still learning about social media myself. There's so many platforms, right? The youngsters are using. So it's an area that you need to keep strengthening. So learn and find out more about social media. The best way to do it is to ask your teen to show you or teach you how to do this. I always like the idea. If you've been watching my video from my events on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every single part of the strategies and my plan that I have shared with the families always includes the teenagers, because we want them to be part of this so they can own this part, own the plan that you come up with them. So it's really important. Tell your teens as to why you want to learn about social media. It is about to keep them safe. It is about how they use it. It is about your own knowledge around this area. So when things happen, you know what to do. So that is the second thing that as parents you can do to support your teens. The other part I mentioned earlier is about the binding social media. And it's a really, really difficult thing to do unless you're unless you're super, super competent. You can do this thing. I don't think anybody can do it. I've worked with I've worked with teenagers for the past 10 years and the families. It's literally really impossible. It's so difficult. You have to be like 24/7 supervision, which we don't have the time. And it would not work anyway because you're still not teaching your teens about why is it unsafe, what makes it unsafe for your teen. So that education part is really, really important. However, it doesn't mean you cannot monitor your teens' use of social media. And every family is different. Like Asian family probably would not be focusing on the privacy side of thing. They're just like, I want to check your phone, right, for X and Y reason. And so it really depends on how you see these things, how often you want to spot check in with your children's social media use, or you can use the social media with them when they are using it to be part of the learning process, or you can have a contract with them thinking about these are the times you can be on social media, these are the sites you are only allowed to go on, and these are the things you can do. So you can do it that way as well. There are many different ways to do it, but the whole point is having some monitoring around your teen's social media use. Well, some of my families that I work with will use application and software to monitor their teens' social media use. There's this thing called Spy, which is number one used in UK. Similarly, you just need to download the app, download the software, then you can be monitoring your teens all of their phones and social media use. So that's another way to do it. However, I always encourage the parents to be transparent with their teens, because you don't want your teen to find out you're actually spying on them, and or that will create distrust. All you need to do is tell your teen, I am worried about the social media, not because of you, but because of the world outside you. There's a lot of bad people out there doing all sorts, and I just want to make sure you're safe. I want to make sure you're protected. So this is what I'm doing. And that is really, really important. That is really powerful message to your teen.